getting you hooked. The narcissist and text messages. Every narcissist, from the out-and-out loser, that is, the lower lesser, all the way through all the other sub-schools, to the might and grandeur of the ultra, require the prime aims. We must control you. We have an inherent need to control everybody around us. If you're not on the radar, you don't matter, and therefore the need to control you isn't present. But should you come on the radar, you must be controlled. We need to gain fuel, not necessarily from you. It may just be the need to control you that matters, but we do need to draw fuel, and if we have to assert control over you directly, then we'll gain fuel from you also. First of all, that signals to us that you are under control, and it also gives us our lifeblood. Therefore, the provision of pure fuel, whether pure positive or pure negative, signals that you are under control and provides us with our lifeblood. Every narcissist needs fuel. We also need character traits. We might not draw them from you, but we will draw them from somebody, and ditto with regard to residual benefits. These 4 things are what every narcissist needs, and at least one of those things will be obtained from the relevant appliance within the matrix. Certain individuals cater to all 4. They are, of course, more important to us. Reaching the top of the tree with those that are crowned, or in some instances, you might view it more as the misfortune to become the intimate partner primary source. We need to obtain those 4 things from you, and we do so by manipulating you. Some of those manipulations are benign, and some are malign. Invariably, to begin with, they are benign, because we have to pour some sugar on you, coat you in honey, in order to draw you in. You, as an empathic victim, are highly susceptible to us. You, by virtue of being an empath, have an addiction to the narcissist. This is what makes you vulnerable to us in the first place. This is what makes you easier to ensnare than compared to, say, a normal person or a narcissistic person. Your addiction wants you to be involved with a narcissist in some form, for you to enter into one or more of the 5 arenas of interaction. And thus, a symbiotic relationship is born. You have an addiction to us, although all of you don't realize this until pointed to my work. This addiction wants you to spend time with us. It causes you to become trauma bonded, for trauma bonding is but one part of the addiction. Similarly, we are in effect addicted to you because of the need for control, fuel, character traits and residual benefits, and you as the empathic victim cater to those far better than anybody else. Hence, you are the prime target for us, and you cannot help but be drawn to us because of your addiction. And thus, this is the dance that you are fated to be involved with when we come close to you. For some people, they never realize this, and they end up in a waltz with the narcissist for their entire life, and not just one. Other relationships, social, familial, romantic, time and time again, drawn in, feasted upon by the narcissist, and perhaps put upon the shelf or disengaged from, only to be revisited at a later time, as a consequence of our inalienable perception that you belong to us. There are many different ways by which we seek to control you, by which we seek to gain the fuel and the character traits and the residual benefits. One of the most effective that has been afforded to us is the text message. Whether in text form on a telephone, or through social media, or some other electronic medium, the electronic message is a gift to our kind. Prior to its arrival, we, of course, sought the prime aim through other means. Conversation in person, the telephone. Go further back, the telegram. Go further back, a note wrapped around a pigeon's foot. A smoke signal, perhaps. A note wrapped around a pebble, tossed through a window. A message wrapped around a brick, hurled through a window. A message attached to an arrow, fired by Robin Hood. But then came the electronic message. Fast. Instantaneous. With a reach from virtually anywhere on the globe. Its use repeated and frequent, costing us next to no energy expenditure. Able to be sent to more than one recipient, like a fisherman casting several hooks into the river at once to see who bites first. The electronic message is a tempting and ultimately manipulative tool of ours. During our seduction of you, we use it to brilliant effect, peppering your day with these short-form billets doux in order to draw you in, to control you, to draw fuel from you. The glowing compliments sent through letters glowing on your screen, the tingle, the excitement that you experience, and the smile to yourself on receipt of this message as your emotional thinking rises because you've entered an arena of interaction, the second one, which is communication with the narcissist. That emotional thinking makes you feel good as a consequence of the compliment that you have received, makes you feel excited to have heard from this person who's interested in you, to give you that tingle, that frisson, so that it starts to harness the addiction all the more. Each message is like so many little gifts, each one waiting to be opened by you, and the delight spreading across your face as you read the latest missive that contains our apparent rapturous love for you. Each time one arrives, you wonder, what might it read? And you are never disappointed as we sprinkle our fairy dust over you from afar through the electronic devices we are both connected to. You feel wonderful, savouring that rush of appreciation. It is fantastic and memorable, and you never delete them, storing up all these heartfelt tributes and declarations. You will keep them. The aware of our kind knows that you will keep them. The unaware of our kind is able to harness the collateral consequence of you keeping them as it creates a form of ever-presence, so that when things go wrong, you return to the messages of that golden period and scroll through them, experiencing that bittersweet sensation, but continuing to feed the addiction and leaving yourself vulnerable to being hoovered back in. When the misery descends, you will sit, scrolling back through these text exchanges, evidence of an apparent happier time, remnants of the golden period, unaware that this was fakery, that this was a forgery, that this was part of the illusion. That you fall for believing that these messages were genuine, that they embodied how we really felt about you, and then something has gone wrong. No, these messages are benign manipulations, and the fact is, they were not meant. Yes, the unaware narcissist believed what they were writing at the time, but as soon as it was sent, what was associated with that evaporated into the ether, for there can be no accountability to what is written. And if the narcissist needed to change position a moment later, the narcissist will change position a moment later. We must be fleet of foot, mobile, light. As time advances, you begin to expect these messages. It's entirely understandable. Often you get used to waking and seeing a message waiting for you, becoming more welcome than a cup of tea or coffee being brought to your bed. Your emotional thinking, so high, causes you to anticipate the provision of these messages. There are those that talk about it being like a hit, a bit of the drug arriving, and that is the emotional thinking, causing you to anticipate the rush. And, of course, at this juncture, as part of our continuance of the control of you in the moment and our overarching need to draw you towards being the intimate partner primary source, if that is the course that is marked out for you, then, in such circumstances, we continue to message you and do not let you down. The content of the message feeds your genuine desire to be loved, to seek affection, to experience that passion. This repeated sending of messages is inherently designed by the narcissism to condition you, The narcissism wants you to equate the arrival of the message with pleasure, with affection, and with love, so that you become easier to control, and so that you will respond with the fuel that we need. Unconsciously or consciously, dependent on the type of narcissist that you're dealing with, it is ingrained into your routine. The first thing that you do upon wakening is to reach for your telephone on your nightstand and then look for our message. This then causes you to make you frequently check your phone during the day to see if there is a message from us. You experience phantom vibrations when your phone is on silent and in your bag and in your pocket. You pluck it out and check and feel dismayed as there is no message. Perhaps there is, but it isn't from us, and you begin to feel anxious as you wait your daily hit from us. This is the emotional thinking, causing you to focus too greatly on the receipt of the message from us. Eventually, when that message does arrive, the emotional thinking gives you that surge of delight to course through your body as we deliver. Little by little, in accordance with the narcissistic methodology of salami slicing, you start to focus on the relevant device, waiting for the ping, the buzz, or the flash of light. You keep glancing at your phone, mind unable to focus on the task in hand. Once that message arrives, you immediately open it, devouring it like a starving person given food after 2 weeks adrift at sea. You spend more time responding to the messages, checking the phone and cultivating ways to keep the flow of messages going so that it becomes the matter which you focus on the most during the course of your day. You wait, watch, check and keep, going back and forth, almost beginning to will the phone to buzz and provide that message. And you do not see what is happening. You do not see that you are being controlled. You do not see or understand or recognize that your responses provide us with fuel. Soon, you start to prompt the message. You message us first when you have not heard from us, demonstrating to us that you are under control. Once, you waited a morning before you would contact us. Then it becomes an hour. And now, it's the first thing you do when you wake up. You see that there is no message from us. So, driven by your emotional thinking, unaware of what you're actually really doing, you contact us. This, of course, is a Hoover trigger and signals to us that you are under our control. And therefore, it prompts us to reply. When your message arrives, that causes a Hoover trigger. And, invariably, during your seduction, it serves our purposes to reply to it, to gain fuel from you. We recognize from the content of what you have written, either instinctively where an unaware narcissist or consciously where an aware narcissist, what you've written gives us control, where you go, good morning, how are you? Or missing you, how's things at your end? All good at your end? Can't wait to see you later. That signals that you're under control, but we respond in order to draw more fuel from you. Not because we feel accountable to you, not because we think that's the nice thing to do, that that's the right thing to do, although an unaware narcissist will believe that. But no, we don't. We don't do it because we do so out of honesty or decency, because we have no emotional empathy. What is done is part of controlling you. And the aware narcissist, the greater or the ultra, knows this. The lesser or mid-range, being unaware, does not. And thus you receive that reply. And that causes the relief to wash over you. And then, in those early stages, sometimes there is a delay. And that is where the narcissist is dealing with somebody else. And that you are either instinctively, where an unaware narcissist, or consciously, where an aware narcissist is being tested to see if that longer pause, that growing hiatus, prompts you to message again. And you do. And it's because you are anxious, because you have not heard from us, because you have been conditioned, and your increased emotional thinking causes you to believe that there is a problem, to feel uneasy that you've not heard from us. Once upon a time, at very, very early stages, such a delay wouldn't have bothered you, because your emotional thinking was far lower, because you weren't interacting with us. But now, over the weeks and those months, your emotional thinking has become extremely high indeed because of the level of interaction that you've had with us. And that means that it has that strength to make you feel anxious, so that you act upon your anxiety to send another message. And thus you write, I'm not sure if my message reached you, my phone has been playing up. Or, I'm struggling for signal here, did you get my message? Or, just wanted to check my message reached you. Or, don't worry about responding straight away, I know you're busy. or just wanted to make sure everything's all right. No rush, answer when you can. And you show your pleasantry, your honesty, your decency, your compassion even, those empathic traits. But what you're trying to do is to prompt a response from the narcissist. Not because you are manipulative, but it is driven by the uncertainty of the shift of position. Because once you received an automatic and instantaneous response from the narcissist, and now there's short spaces. And that is because our narcissism is causing us to cause you to be tested, to ascertain the extent of the control over you. That test is done instinctively where lesser or mid-range, and is done consciously where greater or ultra, to see whether you are falling under our control, under our spell, under our influence. In effect, your desperation seeps through the phone, the increasing anguish and anxiety tangible. And then, of course, our response releases you from those worries and reply, which then prompts a flurry of response from you, your gratitude evident, even though you may not write as such. The fuel begins to flow, and it is all intended by our narcissism. It has structured this approach so that you have your emotional thinking fed, that you signal that you're under control and you be conditioned to act in this way. The phone becomes the barometer of your day. Early message received from us, you can relax and enjoy the next 2 hours until you start wondering where the next one is. Such power is wielded by us through the simple act of sending you an electronic message, and we haven't even started on using it to devalue you yet. The provision of the text message or the social media message is easy, fast, expansive, extends our reach, and enables us to assert control, draw fuel, potentially draw character traits and residual benefits. And so, interestingly, so often you rely on receiving the message, but the irony is you don't actually get the message. Not until much, much later. I'm H.G. Tudor. Thank you.